I remember him walking into that building with his mother. His mother almost pretty much, if you think about a movie, a kid getting dragged by their ear, you're going to school, right? And I remember being in the office that day and he was like, I don't want to do this. And I saw him and I was just like, yeah, he's going to be my kid. That's going to be my boy, right? And his mom said he has not been successful. And I remember hearing this verbatim. He has not been successful at 3 schools. I don't know what else to do with him. She was almost to the point where she was like throwing her hands up, like, I need someone to help me with him. And he was mine. I've seen him through incarceration twice. And when he came back, he's just like, you don't look at me any different. I said, because you're mine. I would always say, because you're mine to my kids, and especially him. And he decided one year, I'm gonna do it. That year before he actually passed away, he started being on top of it. He was coming to school every day. He made sure every time he came in, he would be like, can I get my hug? I would give him a hug and say, let's have a great day.
Welcome to Purposeful Empathy, a show that's dedicated to amplifying the voices of people from across the globe who understand that the world needs more empathy and are doing something about it. This season is devoted to the power of empathy in education. Meet 12 visionary leaders from the Transformative Educational Leadership Fellowship Program and learn how they are bringing meaningful change to their schools. You won't want to miss a single episode, so hit the subscribe button now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Welcome to a new episode of Purposeful Empathy. Today I'm joined by Kandace Stallings, a social and emotional learning specialist for Chicago Public Schools Options Network, an initiative that supports students who have faced challenges in traditional educational settings. Kandace is also a faith leader at her home church, recognized as a compassionate leader who has dedicated her life to inspiring and encouraging and igniting change in those around her. She's on a mission to empower both educational and faith leaders to lead with love and to inspire students to set, pursue, achieve their goals and their dreams. And to that end, she serves as a mentor for Block 91, a group of young adult leaders striving to make a difference. This season, I'm exploring the power of empathy in education, and that's why I've invited Kandace to be a guest speaker, because that's precisely what she practices and exemplifies. Welcome to the show, Kandace.
Hey, Anita. It's so good to be here.
Great to see you on a Monday afternoon. We were just talking about how cold it is outside, but how warm it'll be in this room together by the end of the call.
Absolutely.
So where I love to start is just getting to know you better beyond the bio. We just got the tip of the iceberg there anyways. I wonder if you could share with those who are listening and watching, like, what are some things that we should know about Kandace that would explain why you love doing the work that you do and what you feel called to do?
I always introduce myself as I'm Candace with a K, right? Because my mom told me that my dad wanted to name me something else, name me Cassandra. And then she was like, I think that Candace works, and I'm going to spell it with a K because it's special. And so I was like, well, because it's special, I have to tell people it's Candace with a K. And, ever since my mom, she really has poured into me to be just somebody who can do it all. Just her being a single mom after a few years of being a mom, after just only a little bit over a decade of being a mom, she just poured into me like, if there's some things that you want to do it. And I've met some people along the way. I was an athlete for the majority of my life. And just being an athlete, being a part of a team has really helped me to always aspire to look for that team. Every job that I've had, and everything that I've been involved with has been on looking for the team. And I love, love, love that I found Tell, because the first day that I met everybody, I was like, I feel like I met my team. And the team, the proverbial team, is just a group of people that's just willing to just ignite change, a group of people that's willing to just go and light up the world, because it's just a part of me. I guess it's that special K, a part of me. I don't know. I don't know where it goes from. I guess it's a part of me.
And there's a
You
whole
know?
cereal box named for you. I'm never going to look at it the same way. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I
Yeah.
also, if I can put you on the spot right away, because I know this to be true,
You
Mhm.
recently added a little special something to the Special K.
Oh,
Tell us about
you
that.
remembered.
You remember, of course.
Yeah, you remember. So my best friends, oh, you probably can't see it here. It's empathy tattooed right on my arm. My best is a group of girls, three of us, girls, and now women, very much women. We a few years ago we said, let's choose some words for each other to just solidify a friendship. You know how sometimes you could just be so sentimental with your group of girls. And I chose a word for one friend, and my other friend chose a word for her. And then both of them looked at me and said, "You are empathy. That's just you." So all of us have our word with a little red heart tattooed on our arms here.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no better word that I could imagine that suits you, but also that I want to carry around with me forever as a reminder that I can live that, I can be that, and let me do more of that.
Let me do more of that is what it was. I love the fact that they chose the word, both of them chose the word for me. Like I chose one and she's like, okay. But both of them looked at me and said, that's who you are. And sometimes we don't even realize who we are until some people tell us some things. Just like I was telling you about my mom, she told me, oh, I want your name is Candace with a K because you're special. And I was just like, okay. And I just kind of took that and ran with it. And my friend said, you have empathy, like, and that's who you are. And I'm like, wow, if y'all see that, then I'm just gonna roll with that because I think, if that's who you see me as, then I'm gonna roll with it too.
Okay, so let's talk about empathy for a second. This is a podcast about empathy and a special series on empathy and education. Let's break it down. So, how do you, what does empathy mean to you? And then follow up right away would be, why do you think it's so important in spaces where people are learning?
My goodness. I have served the marginalized people from all of my career, even starting an internship. I've served people who have been pushed out and I just had this spark of just this is the population that I want to serve. So the people that I serve have had so many challenges. Like they've had some of them are parents early, some of them have been incarcerated, some of them has moved so many times they can't even count. What else would they need when they come to school? A primary education is what we all think that people need, right? We would love for everybody to have in high school at least a high school diploma because then that shows the world that you are able to go and do work, that you're able to do some things. And if you've had all of these challenges before the age of 18, before the age of 15, even, you need a compassionate leader, an empathic person to just walk alongside you while you go do this thing that most of us have done before. Maybe we don't have family members to walk us through that. Maybe they don't have people to look up to that they've actually finished their high school diploma. So I think that just walking alongside someone, and I just have this young man that just is on my mind regularly. And unfortunately, in 2020, May 2020, right before his birthday, he actually passed away. It was heartbreaking. However, the year before, I remember him walking into that building with his mother. And his mother almost pretty much, if you think about a movie, a kid getting dragged by their ear, you're going to school, right? And I remember being in the office that day and he was like, I don't want to do this. And I saw him and I was just like, yeah, he's going to be my kid. That's going to be my boy, right? And his mom said he has not been successful. And I remember hearing this verbatim. He has not been successful at three schools. I don't know what else to do with him. She was almost to the point where she was like throwing her hands up, like, I need someone to help me with him. And he was mine. I've seen him through incarceration twice. And when he came back, he's just like, you don't look at me any different. I said, because you're mine. I would always say, because you're mine to my kids, and especially him. And he decided one year, I'm gonna do it. That year before he actually passed away, he started being on top of it. He was coming to school every day. He made sure every time he came in, he would be like, can I get my hug? I would give him a hug and say, let's have a great day. I'm telling you, he became student of the month. His attendance was all the way up. Like this kid was doing everything that he needed to do. And then of course COVID hit and then different things happened and all kind of things. And then it led to that. But I have memories of him having conversations with me saying like, you never looked at me different. And we saw some things that he's done some things that would make people be like, really? It's nothing a student can do to make me love them any less. And that's just my heart because if I can look at you differently after you've done something, then what does that say about me? I'm not a perfect person, you know? That was a long answer, I know, but
And
yeah.
I'm so sorry he's lost.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry he's lost.
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate thing. It's like working in this field. I remember my mom asked me when I told because it's happened several times since I've been working, and my mom asked me, "When are you going to get a regular job?" A regular job. I was like, "This is what I do," and she was just like, "It's heartbreaking," and I was like, "The kids deserve somebody that cares."
Mm,
And
mm,
that's just, and
mm,
I do. It's the people that I care about. I love to do it. In the position I'm in now, I still get to see the students. I'm not so directly with the students every day, but I get to affect change in the leaders that serve the students. And I even get to model. So I have relationships I serve 36 schools in the Chicagoland area. Okay. And I have a relationship with at least three students at each of the schools that I serve because when I'm there, I'm trying to find that one so I can model what it looks like to unconditionally love a student. And I know love in schools is not really supposed to be said, but it's the students need to know that you care. And to care, you actually have to have some love in your heart for them.
I really am inspired to do this series with educators and people who are working with young people, talking
Mhm.
about the importance of empathy because, and you've already, said it in your own words, but kids can't come to school and learn if they don't feel some degree of love somewhere,
Some-
somehow, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
And go ahead.
That's just the truth. If you think about a continuum, I'm just like, okay, like to the point of like, okay, loving your own personal kid and then loving like no love at all, it's gotta be at least halfway. It's gotta be at least halfway. Like some people be like, well, I wouldn't do this. I would do this for my own kid. Well, some people love their kids differently, but you have to want to see the kids succeed. You have to believe that they can succeed. If you don't believe it, then what are we doing? So
Mm,
it's like, how can you? And so I've changed roles because of different positions in my life. Like I haven't stayed at a job for longer than 5.5 years or so. Because like when you have different seasons, and you start to get hardened, people don't deserve that hardened part of you. So
mhm,
if you aren't really bought into the work, if you don't believe that students can succeed, then maybe we can find a way to use your educational degree in a
mhm.
way that won't harm people. It's all about harm. So if you can no longer do that route, then maybe we need to find a different way. That's where I'm at with it. And I've coached several people, and I have not been in a position of leadership in schools. I've been school counselors and I'm in a position of leadership now, but I'm not evaluating anyone. I'm a leader, but I'm not evaluating. So, but I've coached people into finding what works for them because when you are in a space where you can't find that love, where you can't find that belief that students can do well, you're harming, you need to leave. So, like, what do you want? What do you love? And my favorite way of going to talk to someone, building a relationship is like, what's something that just gets you so excited? Ooh, that's a good question. And if it has nothing to do with kids, I'm always going to say, how are we finding a way to that? Not saying you need to get out of here in a negative way, but I'm saying it in a way of because I care about you too. I want you to be happy. You're not making this place a happy place. So let's figure out a way so that we can get to our own happy, and people won't be harmed.
And so, what do you bring about this conversation into your work as a faith leader? And what is it about a faith leader that you bring into the school?
Oh man, because it's the whole separation of church and state. So it's like you have to be really strategic on how you say things. But all of this is birthed from what I believe in. It's a God-given gift of me because I don't know if we can sustain this amount of empathy on our own. I don't know if we can love people no matter what they've done on our own. Like, because I think that is where I learned that from the Bible. I've learned because there's nothing I could do to make God love me less. That's what I believe. So it's like, if he can love me through all of my mess, then why can't I love people in the way that they need to be loved through no matter what they've done, you know? Healthy boundaries, of course, but it's what it is. So my faith helps me all the way through. So at church, I feel most at home. Around believers, I feel most at home. When we can speak the same language, we can share the same stories. That makes me feel most at home. So I just find a way to paraphrase without, I say I don't use King James at school. So I paraphrase the Bible in a way that is not quoting scripture and putting it down people's throats, but it's still the same message of love, empathy, and being patient with people as they go through process.
And uplifting people.
That's my thing.
So how are you finding it now as an educator, as a Black woman educator,
Mm,
in the contemporary, we're taping this in February of 2025, lots
mhm.
of political shifts going on. How are you maintaining faith? How are you um, mobilizing community? How are you? Yeah.
It is so interesting. So this morning, it's a group of us in my network. So it's about 20 of us in the network total. Um, but it's 8 Black women specifically in different parts that serve in different parts of our network. And we get together at least every 2 weeks for a lunch, a little longer lunch where we just talk about how work intersects and we just understand each other and we just kind of create a safe space for one another. Now, we call each other the courtroom because of this one sketch off of Black Lady Sketch Show. But this is the courtroom. We enjoy each other. And this morning I was talking to one of our older members, so we call her our elder sometimes. So we respect what she says, but she does come in with a, hey, you saw this, you saw what Trump is doing now. Did you see this? He's canceling Joy Reid's show. Make sure we watch it tonight. And I know you heard about that. And so I'm like, okay, it's two of us who are believers. I'm talking about we will pray before work believers. And the rest of us are like, yeah, we believe in God, but look, you know. So the fact that it's two of us, we encourage one another. So we have our courtroom lunches, but we also have our time together and we pray and we talk about like the things that we talk about in the courtroom, but we talk about it from a faith lens. And she goes to Bible study with her mom every Thursday. I have Bible study at home with my family, and we talk about things to just encourage one another and don't let the news consume us. So it's important for us to know what's going on because it feels diabolical. It feels diabolical what's going on. It doesn't feel good. It makes me ask God every day, like, I hope you see me. Your word said you see me, but it don't feel like you see me. Like it's being honest, being open and vulnerable with him. Like I don't feel good and I need to see the God thread today, but resolving, I resolve on peace and I resolve on faith no matter what is going on. And that's just what I have to do. It's a mess. I'm not even gonna act like but joy comes in the morning. Everybody will say that, and I'm hoping that joy comes in the morning
Hmm.
because that's what the word says. But I'm resolving to have faith in God, and I just trust God.
And so what about you,
Mm.
Candace, as a person, you're a faithful person, glass half full person, you're smiling, glowing, you should be like on a Colgate commercial with your teeth all beautiful white
Yes.
there. Um,
Anita.
on the heavy days, even when you're uplifting people and you're showing up for them and you're doing the good work, it's got to be exhausting.
Absolutely.
So how do you take care of yourself? Where's the self-empathy piece?
Um, yeah, and that's a great question because I believe that I believe that I was challenged with that when we bought our home last summer. So we bought our home last summer, last June, we moved in Father's Day weekend, and my husband hurt his back. And then like it felt like the weight of the world was on me, like, so how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do that? And and then like he lost his job a month after. I know I'm telling a whole story to get to it, but I was like, how did this work? Like, what's going on, God? Why is this? And it felt like it's on you, it's on you. And my son is constantly calling mommy, and my mom is needing this, and my sister needs that, and everybody. And I remember just being like, silence the noise. I created a space in my basement, and my husband doesn't like the basement because it's cold, but I grew up in the basement. So I'm fine with the basement. I created a space that's like a closet, workout, prayer room. That it doesn't, it's all the things, okay? And it's my space. And I go in there every morning. I wake up at 5:15. I pray, I do what I need to do. I sit, I get quiet. I am diligent on that time. I need to. And I know that's early in the morning, but I know that's my baby's not gonna be up and my husband's not gonna bother me. So that's my time in the morning. I get up, I do what I need to do. Um, Crying in the shower is amazing. I don't know if you've tried that, but if you need to cry, cry. If in other ways, like I do feel rejuvenated after I do my morning routine. My morning routine is a savior for my mental health. And it's something I wrote out this random map one day and I said, I don't I can't hang out with negative feelings. So when the negative feelings come, I used to say, entertain them, come in like, but what if you're not good enough? One of those thoughts may come through. What if it doesn't get better? And I may hang out with it, be like, well, if it doesn't get better than this, if it doesn't get better than that, it will come through my head. And now I'm to the point where I breathe in and say who God is to me, and I breathe out what I believe He'll do for me. And that actually helps my body line up with my faith. So that is something that I do throughout the day when I have those negative thoughts. I say I can't hang out with them. It's one of those, it may look crazy, but I'm gonna grab that thought, throw it away. I can't do that. And then my husband allows me so much time, which I love about him. He allows me to have my time. I like to sometimes just do nothing but by myself. I want to be alone. I need like 2 hours of alone time every day. So like if I drop DJ off in the morning and I come home after work, that's his time. Don't ask me what time I'm coming home. Don't ask me what I'm doing. I'll get there. Please believe I'll be safe. I'll get there and I may just drive slowly through a really nice neighborhood and look at big houses. That's that might be something that I do. So it's not too much, but it's just I find time to get alone, and a lot of it is just prayer and talking out loud.
Singing in the shower and talking out loud. Are people writing down some notes? We got to do this, folks. We got to do this. Sounds like it's
Yeah.
working for you. I love that. I love that. I
Yes.
wonder if you could share, if you want to name some people that have impacted your faith, but also your empathic leadership style.
Yeah, man. Number one, I think I have to do this in order, so I want to make sure that I always mention my husband. Okay, we've been together 10 years this year, married for 6 in August, right? And I can't believe that. Like time has just flown. But I always thought that when we were dating, I said, you know what, he needs me in his life. He needs to go ahead and marry me so I can help him. As soon as we got married, I found out I was the one that needed the help. And the fact that he's so consistent every day, I can set a clock to this man. His consistency and his structure is something that I need because I am one of those 20 minutes late, running around. The fact that he's so consistent, structured, and calm, and he allows me to be who I am, and he loves me through it all, that has given me the safe space to become a mother that I never thought I'd be and to be a vulnerable woman. I always thought I had to be strong because, that's just who I was. My mom was a single mom. So I was like, I saw her do everything. I thought that's what I had to do too. So him creating that safe space and then my mom just being a rock.
2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Let's come back to your mom in a sec, okay? Because I think you've just said something super important, and I want to tie it back to the empathic leadership. So you are giving props to your husband because he lets you be vulnerable, and that it has somehow a dotted line to your leadership. Can you say something about that? I
Oh,
don't want to put words in your mouth here.
no, it is. No, he has given me the safe space because I never thought I'd be a mom, but learning being a mom is like completely giving up all of control and
Mm.
being vulnerable enough to just unconditionally love someone when you don't have any control over anything. And I'm like, wow. And he just makes me feel safe. But it connects to my leadership because now I understand that there's no control in this thing. And I can go on and say, like, hey, I'm tired as hell today, y'all. And I don't, my son did this last night and he didn't really let me sleep. So I'm leading from a place of tiredness, but I'm here with you all. And people are like, I'm tired too. So it gives them the space to be open. And once everybody else is open, now we can get some real work done.
Yeah, and it never stops because what I
So,
have noticed, so
mhm.
I teach at a university. I've got 20-year-olds in my classrooms, a little
Oh,
different, like yours are a little younger,
yeah.
but they want to hear stories. I'll tell a story about, when my heart was broken and one of my most cherished dreams flatlined, and I had something to do with why it went wrong and sideways and the lessons I took from it. And I'll get people coming up to me saying, you have no idea how important that story was, given what I'm going through now. And it's just so nice to hear somebody talk, like to be humanized, like to see somebody in a teaching role be human, right? So that's what we're doing, is by showing up as our full, complicated, complex, messy selves, we give
Yeah.
permission to others to be the same, right?
Yeah, that's that Marianne Williamson poem, right? I think that's my little tagline, one of the parts of her poem.
We'll include that in the show notes because that's worthwhile
Sure.
checking out if people don't know it.
Mhm.
Your mom, I don't want to stop you from talking about your mom.
Oh, she's just a rock. And she said this, I think when I was like 21, maybe. I was about to graduate college and I was just talking to her and it still wasn't thinking I was ever going to be a mom, right? And I was just like, man, because I'm like going to get ready for my career. I'm going to do my thing. And I was like, it just doesn't seem like you can have a full career. Because my mom, she went to work, but she didn't like go to like, oh, I like strive in her career. She's like, I went to work and I took care of my kids. That's what I did, like 37 years, same space. Like that's what she did. But I'm one of those people, I want to climb, I want to see, I want to, what's next? What's next? And I was like, it just doesn't seem like you can do both. Like, how can you actually be like a attentive wife, a mother, and actually really strive for success? I just don't see it. And she said this, and I don't even think she remembers saying it. She's like, if you want to do it, you'll do it. Why can't you? Like, and I know that's so simple, but from her, it just hit me. Why can't you do it all if you want to? And I was like, I am. Like I am. And she just like, cool. And she just sits back and watch me do my thing. And she gives me the space too to just be who I am. And of course, man, my pastor, he has shown me so many things. Like I was rocking with him when he was the minister of music. He was singing and directing the choir. And I came back to church when I was 24 years old and just like ashamed, right? That whole shame thing, like, oh, everybody's gonna know I was just wilding out in college. And I just need God. Just and he like I just came back and he was just like, hey, what's up? Just try to get to know me again. Like, he knew me when I was younger, but I left for years and then I came back. And then he graduated to being the youth pastor. He's like, hey, can you just help me? I love the way you organize and I just feel like you got a good call in your life. And I watched him do life and he brought me along. He's a great husband, an awesome leader, an amazing father to four kids, and he has a special needs son. And he makes space for every single one of them individually. His wife doesn't go without. Like, I'm like, how do you do it all? I saw him like adopt like 20 boys from a school in one of our most impoverished neighborhoods in Chicago. He brought them to his house and he didn't have a spectacular job, just led with love. And I just saw him do it all. And then when God called him to be the head pastor, he was like, I need you to go ahead and take over the youth. And I was just like, really? He was like, yeah, I think you can do it. And I was like, you've shown me how to do it. And he just was like, I have. Like, he's just a humble guy. Like, he didn't even think what he was doing was showing me leadership. But his faithfulness to God showed me that it's possible to be faithful even with all the complexities of life. So I can be faithful as well. So it's just those three people really have revolutionized the way I see things and, a lot of other people along the way, but those three really stick out.
And now you're leading this youth group. Tell me a little bit about them.
You know, I love this group of young people. So I've actually been leading them for years. They're all adults now. So it's like a young adults group now, and the name has changed. It's like the Block 91 is for the teenage section. We only have about four of those, and then they've evolved it. They created their own name, right? So Block 91 stands for Building Leaders of Christ's Kingdom, right? So the leaders part really worked because all of those people, which is about 10 of them now, 20 between 19 and 26 years old, they created this group now. They call themselves, that's why I call them, I'm their mentor now. They're Faith City which is Faith City Young Adults, right? But they just get together, they do Bible studies together, and then they ask for my leadership. They ask for, what do you think we should do next? The fact that we like prophesy the building leaders of Christ's kingdom and they're actually going and leading their own lives, they run our church. They literally they're the technology heads. They're the producers of the church. They run the social media. And they started going to this conference called Passion, and they go every year now. And the young man, it's one young man who's like a budding minister, and you can tell he's 20 years old, and he's like, I want to know more about leadership in the church. Like he is sold out for Christ. Okay. This guy is amazing. And it's just the fact that they know to call me when they're having trouble. My pastor's daughter, she calls sometimes. She's like, can you just pray for me because I just can't today? And she won't tell me everything, but she'll just call. And I'm like, okay, let's pray. Okay, let's this. And she started college, and she's like, you went to college twice, so I need your help. you know. And it's just like as they're going through life and like dating and all these things that they know to call me, that they know they can come over my house. Like they'll ring my doorbell and it's like, hey, we got snacks and games. Oh, let's go. I love it. Like I think I just started thinking about this honestly as I'm talking to you. I'm letting them see me do life just like my pastor let me. Look, you saw that right away. I didn't. I'm just letting them in my life, and they're just watching, and they bouncing ideas off of me. They have amazing ideas. It's just a good group. I just love them.
Mm. I can hear the love all the way through the Zoom.
Yeah.
You've shared three people that have touched you, and sort of really exemplified or modeled the kind of servant or humble leader that you aspire to be and that you are. I wonder if there's been any like moments in your life that have shifted how you change things. I think you call it being in the room. Yeah.
Do you understand? So I mean, I could just talk about that one. So I had been in these roles that, my sister and everybody else would see as like, "Oh, you got a good job, girl." And I'm just looking at it as a job that goes along with my degree, right? I've been a counselor, I've been, outpatient therapist and all these different things throughout.
Coach too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a therapist by trade. It's just education just like called me, literally. So just doing outpatient therapy and all these things. And as a counselor at an option school, which is an alternative school, we call it options in Chicago. Um, I just saw the disparities and I was just working and I'm like, I had my son and I came in the school right after I came back from maternity leave. And I said, this is going to be my last year here and I'm going to make it count. I don't know. It just felt it when I walked in the door. I'm gonna make it count. I'm telling you, I did all kind of good things with the kids and just quantified my work and made it good. I applied for some jobs and I was scared to apply for this job that I have now. So I was scared to apply. I applied for the job and I'm like, this is a prestigious job. They're going to be paying a good amount of money. And I just don't know if I'm good enough, right? I applied for it like this, like just, oh, I don't know. Got an email around Christmas time saying like, hey, we want to do this. And a couple months later, I'm following up and doing all these things. She said, hey, we're in an impasse, but I want to let you know I'm not considering anyone else for this role. And I was like, oh, I'm in the room. And when I got in the room, with all the people that I thought I wasn't good enough for, I realized that they were just as confused and maybe a slightly insecure, and they didn't have all the answers. I'm like, wait a minute. These people who I revered so much and I thought that I had to be so much more to even sit next to, they're just like me.
See,
I'm about to do my thing. I
what I
love
love about that story is that it's a story about unlearning some things,
that's it.
right? And I think about how much unlearning we have to do in formal spaces of learning. Like there's so many messages that the culture is sending us that it's squeezing the spirit out of us. It's
Yeah,
squeezing like what we know to be true if we're really quiet and still, that we are worthy and that we have gifts and that we're here for a reason and all these kind of beautiful stuff. But we we, I mean, there's real trauma that it kind of washes over that sort of like
absolutely.
makes us blind to it, or the kind of society that we're living in right now. So teachers in all spaces have an
Yeah.
opportunity to help people unlearn and dig out some of those ideas, right?
Yeah, it's definitely unlearning. It's so many things. Like, do you even understand that I had to unlearn so much to get my hair into locks?
Mm,
Something simple like Black women, if you talk to any professional Black woman and you mention her hair, she's going to have a story for you. And
mm,
it's something simple as hair. We've been told all our life that locks are not professional, braids are not professional. You have to wear your hair straight, relaxed, right? And that's why it's been a movement. It's been a movement for the past, I want to say for the past maybe decade. It's not that long that you need to go natural because all these chemicals that we're putting in our hair to straighten it, to make it look like somebody that we're not, so that we can look professional and acceptable. It's making us sick. It's like these things we're putting in our body so that we can be acceptable when all we have to do is just be who we are. My hair does not define who I am. It actually makes me look different. It makes me, it like distinguishes me. And it's like,
Candace with the K.
there you go. Like, there you go. Candace with a K, that's me. Like, oh, Candace with the locks again. Some people like now it took me 5 years to just unlearn the idea of what beauty is with your hair. That's as an adult woman, what beauty is. And when I finally decided that, I stopped putting the chemicals in my hair, and then I actually like decided to lock my hair up. And now this year's 5 years with my hair locked. My hair has never been as long. Like you can't see it now because it's all wrapped up, but it's like down my back. I never had this much hair before. It's actually healthy. It's growing. It's thriving. So it's just a lot of things that we had to unlearn.
Mm,
Yeah.
I feel that. I really
Yeah.
feel that.
It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know. Have you ever asked a Black woman about her hair, like in a professional setting?
Well, there's a concern of microaggression too, if you're asking that you don't want to make it an issue. So it
I hear
depends on
you.
the spaces, but
I hear
yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not one of those people that's going to like overly do it because I love, love, love to talk about things that if people don't know, I'm going to talk about it.
Mhm.
It's, I ask those questions. And another thing about being in the room, when I got the job, I would ask questions. And I noticed that some people don't like asking questions, don't like for you to ask so many questions. And I'm like, well, how else are we supposed to learn? And we were supposed to fake like we know. And that's exactly why we got a bunch of unauthentic leaders who don't really know a lot because they don't want to ask questions. You're supposed to act like you know everything. I asked a few questions when I first started. And I remember at the time, she's our director of operations at the time, she said, I'm going to love working with you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she didn't say much about it, but I think she understood. I mean, she worked in the system for a long time. I was just brand new in the system. And she said, I'm gonna love working with you because she knew that she had to be quiet after some time. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna ask these questions. I'm not gonna talk to this person about those things. I didn't know those rules. So,
Mhm.
I'm talking to everybody.
You know, one of the things before I started doing this series of podcasts, I was doing interviews with experts who are like experts on specific skills that are part of the Inner Development Goals framework. Okay. One
Yeah.
of the skills had to do with complexity. like for people to develop a sense of complexity around problems. Like problems are not easy. If they were easy, they wouldn't be problems, right? Like problems are complex. And she's, like master's, PhD, Oxford and Cambridge. And she wrote a book called The Tao of Complexity. So she's bringing Taoism into complexity. And she was talking about some spiritual things, like, but knowing that she's got, physics at the highest level under her belt, so she had a degree of gravitas to her just by her bio, but then she was really leaning into sense making from the point of view of, we have intuition, we can't, we're afraid to name it. And so
Oh,
one of the things that's coming up for me, so I'm not using my brain to ask this question. I'm using the sense that's coming up for me as you're sharing to talk a little bit about shame, because
oh,
I think shame is like the killer of all learning. Like if shame exists in a space, you're so busy protecting yourself and just like, you know, you can't, like, so as soon as you shine a light on that and shame like disappears, and then in the absence of shame you can kind of like flourish, right?
yes.
So I don't know what I'm saying here. It's just this is coming up for me as we're talking about that, is that, we're I'm thinking about all of the spaces where there's standardized testing, for
Yeah.
example, right?
Girl, it's all in my business right now.
Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Both of us. What do you
Yeah,
want?
all of my business. Do you understand? So we took the ACT. I don't know if they do that. ACT, what is the like junior year, grade 11 is how you would say it, right?
Yep.
Right? What is that test, the standardized test that most people take to see where they would place in college? What is the name of that test for
We don't
you all?
take it. I don't take, I've never taken it. Yeah.
See, I just need to go ahead and come on with you guys. It's ridiculous. All the shame that was added to my life at the age of 16 over the ACT test. And then they switched to SAT. And as of last year, they're back on the ACT. So I think the best score you can get is a 36 on the ACT test. It took me, I took that when I was a junior, okay? Grade 11. It took me until I graduated college and was midway through my master's program to tell somebody the real score that I got on that test.
Mm.
That, and I know that sounds ridiculous now, but it was so much shame attached to that. When I got my score, so the most you can get was a 36. I took it twice. The first time I got a 16. The second time I got a 17. And I thought that I was the dumbest person. I was like, I am a dumb jock. That's who I am. But back in the day, well, you just all about sports, right? Because I was a basketball player, diehard fan, player, like pound my chest, basketball player. And I was like, I'm never going to get into college. No matter how good I am, I'm not smart enough. And I felt that all the way through. Do you understand? I was saying I wasn't smart until my professor in grad school, halfway through my program, I'm like getting ready for defense and doing internship. And I was just like, well, I'm not that smart. I was still saying it. And he was just like, I need you to stop saying that. Do you want, he gave me the stats about how many people have a master's degree and all of that stuff. And then he said, you're a black woman too? Do you understand that you have to stop talking to yourself in that way? And I had to pull the thread on like where'd that even come from? A lot of it comes from tests. And Brene Brown says shame eats secrets for breakfast. Like,
Mm.
so it's just like, yep, that's how you feed that shame. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna start telling people what my score was because it doesn't define me. But it took so long to get to that point. Like I would be, oh, because most of my friends, I got 25, and I got a 27, and they were ashamed of that score. And I was just like, I would go right for the middle, 24. I would always say at a 24, knowing good and well I was not there. Had a whole college degree, did great things in my undergrad, still was ashamed of that score.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and then I even chose my program based on if I had to take the GRE or not, which is like a graduate exam that you have to take.
I know.
I was like, do I need to take that? I'm gonna find the program that I don't have to take the test for. It's so amazing that you brought that up. Like,
Mm.
yeah. But I
Mm-mm.
think when you're vulnerable enough, it it like broke something else open in me that's like, you know what? If I could tell that score that I was so ashamed of for all these years, I can talk about anything in here. And I really love to create space for people to feel free. Because when you're free, that's when you can get your most creative, you know?
Mm, mm. Love that, love that, love that so much. Okay, two final questions before we say goodbye, and this has been so much fun. Um, okay, so there are some folks that are watching and listening. Maybe there are school administrators, maybe there are teachers who are just tired, need a lift. Maybe there's students that are kind of curious. What do the educators have to say? What do those teachers think in the real world about us? What's a message that you think might be helpful to someone listening right now that'll resonate with them? Somebody needs to hear something right now. What do you want to lean into?
You have what it takes to do the things that you're called to do. And if you don't know what you're called to do, take a deep breath and think about the things that you love, things that you would do without pay, and do those things.
And you can do it all, as your mom would say.
You can do it all. You can do it all.
As you're telling your youth. I love that. I love that. Okay, great. So put in the comments below something that you're called to do or something that you want to put out in the world and let the world know that you're ready to take on. Kandace, last question, and this I ask of all my guests. It's the soft landing of the interview. If you can think of a time in your life when you were on the receiving end of empathy, what was that about and what did that mean to you?
I think about the receiving end of empathy. I think about how my best friend's mom brought me joy in the midst of a terrible time for my family. She didn't have to do it. My mom doesn't usually allow people to do things for us because she's a strong black woman. You know, I don't strong black woman. So my dad passed away when I was 11 years old from cancer, and we were a happy family before that. And I knew my best friend, and we were all family friends. And when that happened, my best friend's mom swooped in and said, "Hey, I can take Kandace this weekend if you need a break. I can take Kandace to church with me. We're going to go to California for a church conference. Can I bring Kandace?" And she showed me what it was like to go through hard times because her mom had cancer before and she made it through. Her husband had cancer before and they made it through. My dad just didn't make it. So they showed kindness to me. They brought me to Christ. They showed me what it was like to get through hard times and still love God and still know how to love on other people. And to this day, I'm sending her pictures of my son and she's sending him gifts for his birthday and she's just saying, "Oh, I love him." And she's met him twice. She doesn't even know him, but she just loves him. And it's from all the years of her just pouring into me. And I just am so grateful for her just being kind and just showing love in a hard time for my family.
What's her first name?
Mindy for Minda.
Oh, big shout out to Mindy. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
story. Would you tell us a little bit about your dad?
Oh man. Stanford James Arnold the first. His birthday is February 6th. My birthday is February 12th. So I was his sugar baby. That was my nickname. That's my nickname for him especially. Like he's the only one to call me that. So every once in a while my mom would throw it out there just to be like, I didn't forget. I was just talking to my uncle this morning on the way to work. He had six brothers, and two of them are pastors now. One of them is just a man of God that I love, and we share stories and we just are able to connect. And he was telling me, he said, "Your dad was one of the smoothest men I ever met." He had a little street to him, little street, like like a little ghetto at the top. But I didn't see the ghetto. He saw the ghetto. I didn't see that. I saw the smoothest dude, brought people together, life of the party, like not like dancing life of the party, but brought people together and was like, "Are we eating or not?" That's his favorite. Like, "We eating or not?" That's his thing. And it's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so just him being the kind of guy that I don't know, man. It's like my uncle told me, like, he said, hey, I met your husband, and he's not like your dad. He made sure to say he's not like your dad, but I can rock with him. And it's like a not like he's a bad guy. It was like a he's not that smooth kind of guy that I that I know. So we talk about him a lot, and I really love that I look like him. I love that people would say the same things about me that they said about him, you know. And and my mom, at some point, me and my mom got into like a bit of a back and forth. And I remember her saying, like, you just look so much like your dad. You remind me so much of your dad. And I used to, when I was younger, I didn't like it. But now I'm like, I take it like pride because it's like a piece of him is still here. And I don't get as sad as I used to get when I talk about him. Um, it's just, I'm just glad that he made me. I'm glad he made me. So, I'm just glad. Yeah.
This has been an hour of soul food. Okay. I just feel
Soul food.
so full of like, I'm just happy. I'm in a good mood. Whoever's going to come home is going to have a happy mom at home to say hi
That's
to.
what I'm talking about.
And it's report card day too. So she's
Oh,
going to
I
be
hope it's good
so
stuff.
it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Uh,
Candace, you're a treasure. Thank you for finding
appreciate
the
you.
time. Really appreciate you.
Oh, this is so much fun. I was like, podcast, I want to do it. I listen to podcasts all day.
Sweet, 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 sweet. So this is going to come out in the summer just before the new school year comes up. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching and who's been listening. And we'll see you next week at Purposeful Empathy.
If you know someone who would benefit from this episode, please share it with them. Post the link to your socials and hit the subscribe button now. The world needs more empathy, and you have an important role to play.